Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to DGT Live episode 100. What? Digital game time. Woo, woo, woo.
100? Since when?
We made it, guys.
Your friendly show about gaming, movies, and pop culture. I'm your host, Leo, along with
Rick
and
Francisco.
What's going on, guys? 100 episode.
We made it, guys.
100 episodes later.
Hi, Melinda.
What's up, Melinda? Nice
100.
to see you. One of our faithful. And we're here, guys. 100 episodes later. It's been a little bit over 2 years now.
And that's not counting our specials, our con visits, our video game reviews.
Not counting all the sites.
Yeah, we're technically talking about the actual show, like the topic of the show, not convention.
I'm curious to see actually how many videos we have. You keep talking. I'll check.
So I'm really happy about it.
Over 9,000.
I'm really happy here.
Really happy. Oh, the chat's not working.
I'm just thinking about. Oh,
well, we tried.
It's been a couple weeks and we kind of
forgot
how to set it up properly. So yeah, we're not seeing live comments.
It's all right.
What's up?
We know you're there.
What's up, Melinda?
Either way, man. Either way, I just want to say, fun fact: DGT first aired on a Friday night.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because before we could only hang out.
Actually,
on Friday night.
We could only hang out.
I shouldn't say aired. I should say we recorded on a Friday.
That's
night.
right. Because we didn't used to do this.
Yeah,
live.
and it wasn't live. The whole
and then
live
it was
thing,
uploaded by like Wednesday, I think.
Oh,
this whole live
it
thing
took a while.
just started
sometimes.
a little bit less than a year ago. It's gonna be almost a year of us doing this live,
where we're
for all you
actually
beautiful people.
consistent.
And we had no graphics.
Fun fact: no one cares.
Yeah, nobody's watching really.
Hey, Melinda's
Just
watching.
kidding. You're watching.
Melinda's
I know you're
watching. What's up, Melinda? How are you doing, Melinda? I want to know how you're doing. You still doing all that Zumba stuff?
Kicking me off the
So let us know.
All right. So what's up, dudes?
Oh man,
You sound kind of tired, Leo.
stuff, man. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of PUBG.
Yeah.
PUBG, man. I'm still addicted to that video game.
No shame.
No shame in my game.
Yeah.
That's
I'm playing it.
for show, man. A lot of Cuphead, but no progress though.
Oh yeah.
It's such
stuck on the same level.
Such a difficult game. Well, the thing is, the game tricks you into thinking it's easy, and you can just sit down and play for a few minutes.
Cuphead, I heard, is one of the most difficult games.
Yeah, it is. And in fact, you need to sit down and play for a couple hours just to grind out a level, like figure out all the patterns.
I beat like 3 bosses.
We
somewhere around there.
But you're a freak.
I know.
You're a freak when it comes to gaming.
We have.
You're like Kid and the Wizard.
We have.
All right, I'll take that.
We have 349 videos.
That's cool.
Wow,
That's a lot
impressive.
of videos. 349.
Stay tuned.
You know, it's a sign from God because it's 3 of us.
we're on a mission from God.
And I'm a 49er fan, so 349. That's where that number comes from.
All right,
numerics.
It's like the Aztecs. What do they call it? Foresight in their calendar somewhere. If you look, there's like a picture of us with our headphones on engraved on their little wheel.
It was foretold.
That would be so funny.
Have we seen Thor Ragnarok yet? I haven't.
Have not.
Also, Melinda says, I'm great. And yes, kicking those pounds away. Haha, how are you? I'm still fat.
That's how we are.
That's how we roll. We sit down all day and let our fingers do all
for
the
you
push-ups.
guys. See, this is all for you guys.
We let our fingers doing the push-up.
Do the walking.
No, but Thor is in the agenda. Maybe next weekend.
Ragnarok.
So
I like how that sounds.
We actually have a little clip. I don't know if it's the first. It's probably like the 4th or 5th clip about Thor Ragnarok.
we were going to talk about that.
Which I thought it was kind of funny. So we'll see that
That's
one
not
in a
it.
little bit.
Well, speaking of clips, let's just roll with them. Oh, Rick, you messed me up today, bro.
I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, look, none of my... I'm pushing my buttons.
That's your fault. All manual over here.
Oh, we got to roll it like the way we used to.
Thanks,
Let's see.
Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Go scroll down. Scroll down.
How about I push this up? You guys keep talking while I figure things out. It's
So
okay.
you're about to see a little bit. This is an old clip, obviously. It's been out for some time, but Call of Duty World War II came out.
Oh
on
man, I want to
Friday?
play it. Yes.
Looks kind of sweet.
I've heard reviews. This is the campaign story mode, I believe. I've heard a lot of reviews and a lot of people talk about how it kind of went back to its origins.
Back to its roots.
Back to, what did they gave it a term, a phrase. Boots on the ground or something like that. I can't remember. But basically, they kind of did away, or they went away from their latest one, which was like in space in the future.
Right, because Call of Duty was said World War I, World War II. And then it started going to modern warfare and like all these space age weapons and whatnot.
The future warfare.
So yeah, going back to the actual franchise, I guess.
Like
style.
the roots of the franchise.
So from what I've seen, I haven't played it yet. Just little clips that I've seen here and there and people talking about it. They removed a lot of the fast-paced kind of elements to it, but they kept in all the action. So there's obviously explosions, firing left and right, and it's a war, gunfire going off left and right. It's just not all futuristic, and the story is more simple. It's based on the events of what happened, and it's
World War II.
Yeah, it's more relatable, I guess, if you can think of it that way. But it looks good. I mean, we're looking at the story mode, but the actual gameplay looks pretty amazing too. I might get it, but honestly, I've never really been into any of the Call of Duty games.
I'm looking forward to this, to playing it.
No, you're not.
I just
backlog.
He's
looking forward to his backlog.
Considering how many games I have in my backlog right now, I cannot justify spending $60 on a brand new game. I think I'll wait a little bit for it. If it drops down to $45, I'll probably get it, because it is one of those games I really want to play.
All right, I'll play it for free.
So yeah, I mean, that's all I got to say about that. But there's also Battlefront 2 that I'm looking forward to.
Battlefront, dude, Star Wars all the way.
I don't know. I mean, it's
I
been a while.
I played the beta, and let me tell you, it's a world of difference from the first Battlefront.
I recently found out that EA is going to do the same thing like they did with Part 1. It's going to have downloadable characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yep.
But the difference is they're going to be free.
Oh, I did not hear that.
I may have misunderstood. This may have been old news, but what I came across not that long ago was that, they listened to, I guess, a lot of the feedback from the fans and from gamers, basically. And they did away with a lot of things. They changed some stuff. So there will be DLC.
Melinda says, I need the new COD.
We all do.
That COD. The new Call of Duty.
Oh, I thought it was a certificate of deposit.
So maybe that. Melinda, please clarify. Because I'm thinking Call of Duty.
Rick is thinking finationally. So.
I know.
Rick is the responsible one. He always has been.
I am the voice of reason here,
Well,
yeah.
So no, what was I saying? So yeah, so the game is going to be, as they say, incomplete, because you're only going to get so much. But it's the full story, the campaign, the multiplayer with all its characters that are going to be released. I think they said in December they're going to release the next expansion, but it's going to be included. You're going to get it for free, so everyone's going to be able to download it, play it, and
that's really cool, man.
Yeah, it actually is.
What I'm excited about is the space battles, because it's a huge improvement from the last game. I don't know if you guys remember from the GameCube days, the original or the Rogue Squadron game. Those are one of the best space battles in any game, period. And they could never replicate that on the Battlefront games. For some reason, they're all focused on the first-person shooting and, third-person combat to combat.
Well, that's the bread and butter right now of the genre. But I did enjoy the space battles. They didn't have the same feeling. I agree with you. They didn't have the same feeling as far as the mechanics go. But
this one,
I really enjoyed it.
The new one, it's gonna blow your socks off, Leo.
Speaking of socks,
I may look into getting that one as well.
So this came out, and I actually bought this. Go figure, guys.
Go figure.
I was such a hater of this game when we were previewing it, when we were talking about it, seeing like all the snippets that Miyamoto and films anime send our way. And I was just not convinced for it. And now it's the only game I play, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I left Zelda to the side, and I've been playing this nonstop.
I will be honest
incredible
with you. I'm still not ultra hyped about it, but I really want to play it. I mean, it's kind of
much fun, Leo.
It's a conundrum. It looks super fun. It looks like something I totally will end up playing at some point.
It's not pulling those strings on me.
But at the same time, it's not that system seller that Mario has been throughout the ages, where you hear like, oh, the new Mario game, Gotta buy Super Nintendo. Yeah. The new Mario game. Or no,
Nintendo 64 did
first
that.
with a Nintendo. That's what did it for me. New Mario game. Oh, gotta buy the Nintendo. New Mario game. Gotta buy the Super Nintendo. New Mario game. Gotta buy the Nintendo 64. And then
the GameCube messed it up.
Even the Nintendo Wii with the Super Mario Galaxy bought the Wii.
But you know what happened
with
though,
Nintendo Wii U, new Mario game, bought the Wii U.
You know what happened with the GameCube though?
It's just not pulling at me.
Mario Sunshine.
But
I'm
not hating on the game though. I am not. I know it's gonna sound like I don't care about the game. I really do. I'm a big Mario fan. I'm glad it's getting mostly like 9s and 10s out of 10s.
Let me tell you what happened with me. When I started playing it, I was just going to test it.
Even you were having second thoughts about buying this game.
I bought it. The only reason why I bought it was because my GameCube or my Game Club thing from Best Buy was about to expire. And so that was the only way that I could get 20% off of the game is by using that. Or wait until it expires and then renew it and then get these games. But as we have talked in the past, I don't think we're going to be doing any more console gaming for a while because we have the PC gaming. So I have to get it now. Otherwise, I'm not going to get it at all. And so I did because, one of the big things to take into consideration is that Nintendo will never lower the prices on their games if they can help it. Mario Maker is still $60, and that's for a Wii U game. So that's a big example.
Dude,
so, what are you doing with the breathing?
sorry. I'm sorry.
So
he was getting triggered for a second.
I guess. So now I went like, might as well buy it, whatever. I'll put it aside. So I tried it, and I was hooked.
That's kind of cool.
My thinking going in with this game was that it's a kid's game. It's not going to entertain me. I was going negative with it. But I was all negative with it. Like, I'm whatever. And look at me now. That's the only game I play because it's fun. There's so many mechanics on this game. You can be the enemies. You can go into the 2D world platforms. There's so many hidden things on this game that it's actually fun to explore. Whereas other games, it feels like a chore. Big example, Zelda. Those little nuts, the Deku nuts or whatever they're called, the seeds, Kokoro seeds. If after a while, it's like, oh, look, another seed. Oh, there's another one. There's a funny looking drug. There's going to be one underneath. It becomes like a chore. Like, you don't even want to do it anymore. This actually makes you want to explore. And that is something, dude. Because there's so many ways that you can play the game. Like any Mario game after Nintendo 64, you can collect so many stars and then you can go back and try to collect them all. It's the same way. You need so many moons to advance to the next level, but you can always come back and look for the hidden ones. And it's just fun.
I don't know. The Nintendo ship has sailed for me, I think, a long time ago.
You think so?
It's like I'm still at the port waiting for it, like hoping like it'll turn around and pick me up. But it's gone.
I think it's just going to be a matter of weeks before we see this on PC.
A Nintendo game on PC?
There's emulators. There's ways to do it.
There's already that emulator where you can play Breath of the Wild in 4K.
But that's Wii U.
At 60 frames per second.
Like legit ways, no. But, I mean, yeah, I guess.
We don't condone piracy.
We don't?
Arr.
Guys. Moving on.
Oh my gosh. Stranger Things
I think by now everybody's seen this.
We're still not going to spoil it.
No?
But
why not?
I think everybody's seen it by now.
No, I doubt it. We can't spoil it, Rick.
Really? It's already been out for like what, 2 weeks?
It's been out,
1 week. Tuesday.
This Friday will be 2 weeks.
About a week.
No.
Oh, that's why it came out on Friday. So it's a week.
A week and a couple.
It came out before Halloween.
A weekend.
Last week was Halloween. So yeah, this Friday would be 2 weeks.
It's been about a week and a weekend.
So I binged it.
I did too, for the most part.
Rick is a hater. Let's just get that out of the way right away.
What? What?
Rick did not enjoy this series.
No.
Rick was very dissatisfied with how they ended.
What's that one song?
See, Melinda says she hasn't watched it yet, so
we
gotta not spoil it for her.
What's that one song? It's not a Bieber song. I don't know, but the catchphrase is "Let me love you."
I like how
that's the
how this whole series takes place on this church right here.
On this church,
shape of a cross. I'm just kidding.
It's like a puzzle game. So
I'm gonna fake spoil it.
Rick is a hater.
Season 1 came out, right? Everybody binged it. Everybody watched it.
It took me a week to finish it.
Loser.
Yeah,
so everybody watched it.
I enjoyed it. I savored
It was different. It was something different than what we were used to.
No, it was not.
Yes.
I'll tell you why, but
okay.
Go ahead.
Tell me.
Oh, you want? Okay. Basically, the way I saw Stranger Things ever since I saw the first season was that it's a Goonies feel-good type of kids that are geek. They're very geeky. They're nerdy. They're very into technology, Dungeons and Dragons. You know, they have their party. It's about their friendship and who they are as individuals against people who criticize them and sees them as outsiders. That was the whole story.
That's the backstory to it. That's the backstory to it. But it didn't really focus on so much on their friendship, on helping each other out. They were looking for their friend. That was as detailed as their personal life went.
Well, yeah.
That's it. And
I'm sitting back right now listening to you talk, and I just hear the same thing coming out of both of you.
Right.
Like, it's about their friends.
Yeah, exactly.
It's about their friendship.
No. Okay, yeah. But
that's what
I'm trying to say
is this. It's not about the monsters. It's not about
this. Is what I saw in season 1. It was about trying to figure out what was going on. You know, uncovering the whole under, right?
Why though?
The upside down. Sorry.
Why?
Because something was happening. People were disappearing. Their friend was gone.
Because they were looking for their friend.
Okay, listen. Let me explain.
Listen.
Legrick. You know I'm right. You know I'm right, and now you're just trying to whistle your way out of it.
But it was more so of a story of trying to unravel what was happening. And
to rescue the friend.
To rescue the friend. The mom was involved. The kids were involved. The cop was involved. The sheriff, was involved. That was the story, but it didn't go into detail about the kids on a personal level. It gave you some, but not a whole bunch where it was just about the kids. Season 2 was more about their personalities, more about who they were, more about their personal life. That's what I didn't like.
What?
I didn't like that it was... I wanted to see more of the upside
monster.
down.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to see more of what was going on.
It's not about that, Drake. It's about the friendship.
That's what I wanted.
But that's not what it is about.
When I saw part 2, I liked it. And don't get me wrong, I liked season 2. It was awesome. We can't really say too much about it. I'm not saying that I hated the ending, but it wasn't like it felt like it just wasn't like part 1 to me. Like
I was happy with
part 1, season 1.
I mean, it closed a lot of unanswered questions, and especially like how you're talking about at their relationship level. Like the monsters, the upside down or whatever, all of that is secondary, and we're gonna get to it. But as of now, we have the establishment.
See, I guess if you look at it as a whole, like what's to come, then okay, yeah, I guess, because it was like here's part A, here's part B.
Yay, we agreed.
Part C. Okay, the
way I see it is like that. Like if season 1 was act 1, this is act 2. This is like the lull before the big action happens.
They even name it like that. I don't know if you noticed. It has Stranger Things on Netflix, and it doesn't have Stranger Things season 2 underneath. It has a separate show which says Stranger Things 2.
So it's treating it like a movie.
Yep.
See, and that's what I kind of saw it as, like a whole different entity, not a continuation. Right. So,
it's
anyways,
but it was minus good. 1 episode. I hate that episode. That episode was not needed.
But see,
I have to say that I absolutely have enjoyed season 1 and season 2.
Did you like that episode?
Almost equally. And that episode, I thought it was a little bit out there.
It didn't belong.
However, I think it does belong. I have to disagree on that. But we don't have the full picture yet, and that's why I think
as a whole. Then yes, it makes sense.
Yeah, because I'm sure, I'm almost 100% sure, once Stranger Things 3 drops, once Stranger Things
hopefully
4 drops, we're gonna get more of those answers. This is like a prelude, and I don't get it, Francisco. You're the guy that always is an advocate in the Marvel films to where there's certain things that don't quite fit into the films, but you always advocate for the fact that they're setting up for something in the future. Well, I don't see why you have that double standard.
No,
it shouldn't apply to this
No,
and it was.
I will tell you why.
It does apply for something else.
I like it because I already know those characters. Like, I already know that universe, and it's kind of fun to see them when they are treated as secondary characters, maybe tertiary, fourth characters.
Which universe are you talking about?
The Marvel universe.
Okay.
Marvel universe. I mean, you're talking about characters that are like, oh, who's this guy?
Well, see, you go into it knowing what the characters are.
Yeah, and that's fun.
Right.
Where's my money?
But right here,
right here, we're blind to it, and we know it's a setup for. There's gonna be a chapter, season 3.
Saludos.
Saludos. I would really consider this to be a lazy recap episode, like
just that one episode.
Yeah, like one of those like remember when this happened, you know.
It's like it's hard because we can't really talk about it.
I know, but yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
The way that
it's a good thing. I think it is. It did seem out of place.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
It literally like stopped
everything,
all events that were going, kind of.
But I do think it was important. Not only important for setting something else up in the future, but also important because if it wasn't for her having that experience, she wouldn't have known that there's possibilities beyond what she already
knew. But what's a full episode needed for that?
But maybe
now, it was because they're setting things up for the future.
Her conversation with the sheriff would have established that.
Yes and no, because
I don't
because
so.
Okay, so
because
her
they're trying to do
11
more than just establish that one thing.
It's so funny because we can really tell you guys. We don't want to spoil it.
11,
I know most of you already seen it.
But the whole point is, oh man,
I know we can.
Okay,
but we're gonna come back.
Let's put it this way: it definitely was something that she needed to learn.
Well, yeah, it was
like using the Jedi Force power.
Yeah. Yes, it could have been done easily in some other way.
Yes.
And it wouldn't have required a full episode.
Right.
I would be completely upset if it was like a DBZ thing where they extended it to like 3-4 episodes.
Well, let me say this. I do think it was necessary, the episode, because they're setting something up.
I know where you live.
That's a lot bigger than what we're seeing from season 2.
Yeah.
And a lot bigger than what we saw from season 1.
Yeah.
This goes beyond, because if you see her number, she's 11.
Yep.
And then we see
this series.
This episode.
Well, she's in the introduction, so you see her in the introduction.
Okay, we can talk about the first episode. We see number 8.
She was number 6 or 8.
I think it's 8.
Something like that.
So basically saying that 11 was not the only experiment. There were more. So we'll just leave it at that.
I mean, that you kind of already knew for the fact that she had a number 11 on her. So, but yes, it was definitely, to me, I liked both series. I think series 1 was more of an impact on me than series 2.
Because nothing like that had ever been done.
Exactly.
And it's really cool because in all those movies in the 80s, we saw that as an audience, but this group of people are seeing it as it's happening to them. So it's more
That is
interesting.
True. That is true. It's like they're living our childhood.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also have to say, I see this as Goonies meets X-Files.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, you know, we saw all those things in different shows,
and
different
then add
movies.
a little bit of a Stand By Me in there.
But
is it called Stand By Me?
You have to say this is original for what's been coming out lately.
The
closest thing to this that we've seen in the last 15 years even has been just maybe the Goldbergs.
Oh, dude, I know.
That's probably the closest thing we've seen
said in the 80s
to this. But even so, it's a different tone, different mood.
But you know what
the setting, these guys are nailing it with the setting.
What I was telling we were talking about this with my wife, and we were talking how in the 80s, if you remember, I mean, we were kids, but they had the similar thing happening with the Wonder Years. They went back to the 50s for nostalgia. So the adults of the 80s loved that show because it reminded them of when they were kids, and now they're doing the same thing with us. I was like, touche.
Yeah. Except when that was released, it was only like a 20-year difference, something like that. If we were to do that now, it would be like set in 1995.
Yeah.
1996, around there.
All I know is Netflix is coming up pretty hard.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing great stuff.
Look at this guy. What the heck?
Thor Ragnarok.
So we're talking about Thor. We haven't seen it. We want to.
I showed this clip to Pancho earlier. Have you seen this?
I was laughing my ass off.
Turn on the audio. You got to listen to it, actually. Oh, no, you did see it, right? Did I show it to you? No? Leo? I'm asking you a question, Leo.
I'm trying to watch it.
Okay. Okay.
It's the end of all things. The demise of the gods and the ascension of death.
She has a House of Cards vibe to her. And no, I had not seen this.
Okay. I thought I showed it to you earlier. I guess it's just bunch of them.
I mean, more or less. Yes.
That was so intense.
I thought it was a comedy.
Okay.
So,
all right. So.
Yeah, this guy, Chris Hemsworth, I think is his name. Yeah. He was talking about how Kevin Smith, we know Kevin Smith, had mentioned in one of his podcasts.
We personally know him now.
Yeah, we do. So that basically every other Marvel movie was very, like, you know, really fun, really cool. But Thor had something that was keeping it from becoming one of those points too. And he was giving him advice through his podcast to, like, loosen up, have a little more comedy, have a little more this and that. And he's like, I had to listen, and this is the result. And apparently this is the best Thor movie. I haven't seen it yet, but I'm expecting it to be great.
I'm no comic buff, but to me, what I've seen from the illustrations in the comics, it seemed to me like Thor was a very stoic hero, like always serious. Is he like what we see in Ragnarok, or is he really different?
He basically loves to rumble. He just likes a good match. He loves to test out his strengths, show it off. He's the son of Odin, which is basically the god of his planet kind of deal. So he's powerful. He knows it, but he likes to just play around, not like mess around, like play around.
I don't know if you remember the scene from the first movie when they going to get with the ice giants, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's go!" And
they were like trying to prove each other.
That's
like
more
one up
like
each other.
what I imagine him like. But I mean, just based on what the illustrations I see
somewhere
on the
along
comics,
the line, though, he became very serious.
But right now, like this movie, and don't get me wrong, I love it. I love the whole feel to it. But it just seems like he's very becoming more and more out of character. Like he's becoming more. No,
this is actually reversing back to how he was, because part one and part two. Part one, if you remember, Odin banished him because he was basically he was a goofball. Yeah, and he wanted him to get serious.
Took the hammer away from him.
Yeah, so that was his whole origin kind of thing to planet Earth.
I didn't see him so much as a goofball as just arrogant. That's what I saw out of him.
Yeah, kind of. And then part two with the whole Avengers.
He seems more like a goofball.
That's what he's referring back to. He's basically, this movie was basically to get to that, to where he was how he was, not the serious planet-saving Thor with the Avengers that it's all about, caring for. I mean, he still cares about the people, everybody that he's involved with, but he's just here like, oh, now I can rumble, now I can have fun. There's actually another clip, it's in the movie, where Hulk comes out, Hulk's like, cheering on. And we saw it where he's like, I know this guy.
Yeah, like he's actually glad to be fighting him. Like, he likes that.
And then like there's a little bit more of an extended clip where he's like, Loki, look, it's him. And Loki's over there like I don't know this
guy. Shut up.
That's cool.
So it's
enough Ragnarok.
Enough Ragnarok. But we haven't seen it, so we're gonna hopefully see it.
Turn the volume down. Turn the volume down.
No.
Yeah, no. Turn the volume down. We don't need the volume.
We're talking about how Disney is going to take over the world, guys. So right here, this is an unrelated video. It's a tour of the Walt Disney movie studios in Burbank, California. And the reason why we're showing this is because there has been talks where we're probably going to see the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four in the MCU, guys. Just like Spider-Man. Explain why, Leo.
This is news to me, guys.
Basically, Disney is in talks to buy Fox. Fox, guys. The movie studio Fox will be property of Disney and everything within it, which is the X-Men, Deadpool, and the Fantastic Four.
So we got... Oh, man. It's too late.
You think so? Oh, because Hugh Jackman is gone.
Well, that too, but I mean, like with the whole MCU.
Hugh Jackman said he'd be back if he was in a Marvel film.
He did say that, but let's be honest. If that purchase takes place, it's gonna be a few years down the road, maybe 5, 6, and then by the time they make another X-Men movie with the Wolverine, it's gonna be like 10 years, Leo.
See now, but
I have to think he'd probably be able to. They'd probably be able to get this deal
maybe
done
as a cameo
sooner than later, and.
But see, what I was referring more to was the fact that, with Thanos coming in, the Infinity Gems.
Yeah, we're gonna have Marvel movies forever, dude.
But the problem is, the X-Men
came way before
should have already been involved into this.
They'll figure it out. That's why we have.
They will, but it just sucks that it's kind of be like a later on they're gonna throw them in, not when all this is going on, right? Because they should have already existed in this timeline,
right,
of the MCU.
Yeah, because the X-Men are key into the whole Infinity War thing. So, but hey, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy.
But it sounds good. I mean, technically they did it with Spider-Man. They could figure something else in there. You know, call him X instead of Wolverine. I don't know.
Yeah, but let's also talk about Star Wars here. I was discussing with them earlier about the possibility that maybe for all of those of you that are purists with the Star Wars trilogy, the original version, George Lucas made an agreement with Fox that they were never ever going to re-release the original movies, but only the ones he remade with the special editions, the new scenes added. But that agreement was made with Fox and not Disney. Disney bought Star Wars as it was today with those additions.
Talking about buying.
Yeah. So now if they buy Fox, they have the rights to those older movies with the regular movies that came out in the theaters. They might be able to re-release them because Lucas will have no say on it because it was with Fox and not Disney.
How much of an impact do you think that really makes? I mean, I'm all for Star Wars, but with so many different versions and platforms.
Let me tell you, Rick, I could care less.
There's a market for it.
I like the new versions because it makes all the 6 movies tie up better. It does. I mean, some of them are silly additions, but it does make it better.
I quite honestly, I think what they're gonna end up doing is some sort of Blu-ray.
Yeah,
where
just a special edition.
It allows you to see special edition Star Wars or original Star Wars. You know, it's just gonna be
on or off.
Yeah, it's just gonna be like a special. I don't know, 40th. What are we on now?
It'd be 40 years. They
40th anniversary. Yeah, like maybe the next box set. That's how they get us to buy Star Wars again for like the 5th time within our lifetime.
And and they'll do it because it makes money.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that go back to the old Laserdiscs.
Or even more so, what they're going to do is re-release them in theaters first.
Or that. Yeah. And they will. So, more importantly, is Disney becoming a monopoly, Leo?
Yeah, that was... when you mentioned this, I joked around about this being news to me, but earlier we talked about it. And when you mentioned this, I was thinking, like, wow, like if Disney buys Fox... You know, we already have that precedent where they bought Star Wars, they bought Pixar, they bought Marvel, the Marvel Cinematic Studio, the Marvel Studios.
Right. They own ABC's TV. They own like ESPN. They own a lot of.
This was just on the film, the cinema side of things. Like what's to stop them from later on buying other ones? And I mean, we're not quite into monopoly territory, even if this acquisition takes place.
All of a sudden, you see Mickey with a top hat and a monocle.
But it's like you can see where they're driving at. Yeah. You can see like
but in reality,
destination is starting to get closer.
In reality, would it really hurt if they did? I mean, we love a lot of the Disney stuff.
Competition is good, Rick. I think it would hurt. I think competition is great.
Because then they'll get lazy as like, oh, we own everything, so they'll watch it anyway.
I mean, I know. Think of it this way, Rick. Think of we both grew up liking WWE.
Yeah.
Right? During which era would you say was the best era of WWE? Like the most exciting era?
Only because I was more into it as far as understanding what was being said, what was being done, was when we were young adults, as opposed to
the
kids,
Attitude Era, right?
As opposed to kids, where it was just, oh, this guy's slapping people around.
And we know it was great because of what we saw on television. But what a lot of people didn't understand. Alfonso says pretty soon Disney's gonna buy DGT as well.
Hey, I'm all for it.
I'm all for it.
Disney.
Make us an offer.
And all I have to say is WWE was stagnant, or back then WWF was stagnant for a long time, where they were coming up with
World Wildlife
really, really great stuff until
WCW.
good old Ted Turner bought WCW, invested millions into it, and they became a powerhouse competitor to the WWF.
And they were still in their superstars too.
They stole the majority of the WWF roster's veterans, and they became a powerhouse, and it was great. And the WCW was great. So then WWF had to counter that by kind of upping their production values, doing things live, and kind of like it forced their hand to try to keep up and try to one-up each other. So they kept trying to one-up each other,
I get
and that provided
but
for a great era in wrestling. And that era would have never happened if that competition wasn't there to drive each other, to push the limits, to take it over the edge.
I get that, but I mean, we're looking at an umbrella as opposed to two separate companies. Disney would be covering
it's all
these corporations. But it's kind of like saying like, the kids are going to be fighting for the dad's attention. So there would still be competition between them, because Marvel Studios will still try to one-up Pixar as a form of, you know, hey, let's make a movie about the next superhero. Will it be animated or will it be lifelike?
But Pixar's not competition.
I'm just saying as an example.
I'm just saying
they're
always
Brothers.
They're always going to be looking at DC.
Right now, Warner Brothers
that's the site.
is Disney's biggest competition. Because Sony doesn't really have anything but Spider-Man. And even at that, they're working together now. So Warner Brothers is pretty much the one, you know, with Harry Potter, with DC, Justice League, what have you. And not really that many franchises. In the animated side of things, then we have, what is this company? DreamWorks. With, you know, your Despicable Me's, your Treks, and all that. So that's the fighting between the animation movies. But
think about it this way: like, what script was it that was shopped around? Star Wars was shopped around to all the different studios. Remember?
And
it was
Fox
shopped around,
and
nobody wanted it. And Fox finally was like, "Okay, we'll do it."
Yeah.
Can you imagine if back then Disney would have been the only one to go to if that was the monopoly?
Exactly.
Star Wars would have, and he would have not had any other options.
Yeah,
that's
why.
A good point. Why competition is so important. Like, you have more avenues to.
All right.
I mean, as a
I'll
creator,
allow
you have more
I'll allow
avenues.
it.
See, Rick is semi-impressed. Good job, Leo.
Finally convinced him at something.
Okay,
what are we watching? It's rated R, Rick. So
it's a trailer.
I hope it's okay.
It's a trailer.
Greenback.
So Memento. What was going on with Memento?
So Memento.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
How long ago did this come up, Leo?
Mentos, the freshman.
I do believe it came out in either
like
2000 or 2001.
No, before that, wasn't it?
Lady! So it's not that old. It's not
Somewhere
that
around
old.
there.
Basically, it's my thing. Guess what, guys? It's about to be rebooted.
Nice.
Sweet.
Are we talking about a remake?
Remake.
Okay.
Not a sequel, not a prequel, not anything to do with these characters. The same story, rebooted.
Okay, so tell me about it. What other details do we know?
It's Trinity.
Well, not much other than the fact that I can't remember the studio, which studio was it, but they bought the rights because was this Lionsgate? It was Lionsgate. So
I thought
basically,
it was Miramax.
Was it?
I thought I saw that at the beginning. I could be wrong though.
Well, their catalog, most of these movies made in that time and prior to that, the rights were expiring. And the only way they can keep them is if they pay a hefty sum for those catalogs to keep them going. And so the studios are like, nah, we're good. So this other company came in to buy them and with the intention of remaking it. Now, this is a great movie as it is. I can't see them remaking it.
I don't either. I mean, first of all, the way I see remakes is you should at least allow 2 decades to pass you by.
Right.
That way, that generation that saw it at that certain point
It's
Forgets
interesting.
about it.
has like moved
seen
on.
it again,
Has
yeah.
moved on, you know.
Right.
And that way, this remake can be for the next generation. I think that's how remakes should be. You should allow about a 20-year time at least.
Right.
But I mean, I just this is one of those movies where what are you gonna do? Like to one up it. Like, are you gonna add CG effects?
It's not
a CG effect film.
I think this is one of those movies where actually it probably was the first movie that I've ever
Nolan.
really seen that had.
It was his first movie too.
Timeline jumps that weren't straight A to Z kind of.
Right.
It was a skip. I think this was like the first one, and I remember seeing it, I was like, wait, what?
But it was very well done in the fact that at the end everything makes sense.
Right.
It's like, oh dang.
If they were to remake this, I mean, obviously you're talking about different actors because the ones that came out here have moved along too. I really doubt they're going to want to redo their role, and if they did, it just wouldn't seem natural. But anyways, aside from new actors, the story has to basically be the exact same thing, other than the fact that they would probably tie in different things like his condition. They would call it something different, or how he went upon getting the short-term memory or whatever it was that he had. Like they would change that, like how that happened, a bar fight rather than.
If you're gonna tell the story, if they're gonna be telling and they're starting to make it this soon, it better be a really different story,
right?
With maybe the guy where the main character has the same issue, where he can't. Like I can totally see that happening. I think that would be great.
But it's going to be something like it was a drug experiment, or it was
there's
a
another
meteor.
There's another risk.
Comet.
There's another risk.
The moon's aligned.
Remakes
Spider
like this
bit him.
because we can talk about RoboCop. The RoboCop remake.
I love that.
It's
movie.
very different. It's very different not
Fleshy
to be like
hand.
the same one. But the problem with that is that in between those two movies, there were so many movies that already follow that same formula that when you get to the remake, it's like it's been done in more ways than one. So it's like you have this thing in the back of your head of what you're expecting to see in the screen because there was already one.
Francisco, though, you have to understand. You keep saying it's been done. It's been done. One of the first things you learn when you study cinema is that
everything's been done.
Everything's already been done.
But I didn't study cinema, Leo.
Yeah, but that's the thing, though. Like if you look for it, you'll see it. It's kind of like when you buy a new car. Like you never pay attention. You never pay attention to see like, oh, a lot of people have this car. It's not until like you're focused on that car type that you start noticing around you a lot of people driving that car type. You know what I'm saying?
I just noticed Cypher and Trinity are in this movie.
Yes, they are.
Sidetrack.
That's that's what I mean. It's all this. There's only like I think the rule is 5 different story types in Hollywood, and
like 5 main categories.
Yeah, like the different types
maybe.
And there's certain elements of each one that you take from different movies and you put them together, so it makes it look like it's a fresh new movie.
New market.
But in terms of of storytelling and the way it's done, like everything's already been done. I mean, if you really want to look for story and originality, Hollywood's not the place to go.
But again, that's also a topic that's been done as well. It was unique as far as the time that they placed it in.
Yeah, but they're going back to it.
Characters that they put into it. But yeah, obviously that story's been done as well. It's a repetition of other stuff. Just it's like a mini Ghostbusters movie. They were trying to find what the bad guy was and capture it on the second.
Wait, are you talking about Stranger Things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not this. We switched for a second there. But yeah, if they were to remake this, I think I would watch it. I mean, unless it looks like it's going to be like a like a completely like just like off the wall, just doing it just to do it kind of thing. Like, I mean, if they're really trying to remake this masterpiece even better, then why not?
We'll see.
Yeah. One more thing I want to say. Did you guys see the UFC fights this past weekend?
I didn't.
That guy died.
The return of GSP.
Didn't that guy die?
Oh my God. GSP put down a beat down on what's his name on Michael Bisping. I was excited. I got up off my seat and I was yelling, hooping and hollering.
I was what was I doing? I got busy. I couldn't watch it.
Oh, you missed out. Those fights were great. The women's championship match. New champion. Spoilers out there.
Mama June.
Mama say, Mama sa, Mama who
Mama sa. Mama Junas or what? How do you? I forgot how you pronounce it.
I don't know.
But that one,
the American girl one.
that girl.
Yeah,
Was it her?
She was awesome, and I loved something that she said. She said, something about like all the fighters wanting to be jerks to each other, like just to sell a fight. She said, "Let's just be nice to each other."
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, that's awesome." And then
she gets knocked out.
And then after the fight right before her fight, the guys had like some really bad beef with each other, like where they had been feuding for years.
That's probably why she said it.
And the
Like the Rock.
and one guy knocked out the other guy.
Tyrese.
One guy knocked out the other guy, and like he knocked him out, but then when he landed, he kind of like came back to his feet, but by that time the fight was over. Anyway, they're both up, and one's in the other guy's face. The other guy doesn't know where he's at. He's just kind of like walking around in a daze. And the guy that won, he's just like in his face, like, whoa, like as intense as can be. And so that was, I think, part of what she was talking about. And then to end the night, the classiest guy in all of sports, GSP, man. He wins the match. He congratulates the loser. And he's just so classy. He's so polite to everybody. I love that in sports. And GSP, man, you the man, man. Number one. He's a champ.
Cool.
Right.
After how many years? 4 years? 5 years, maybe?
I think so.
Of being out of the game and just coming back and fighting the champ and beating him down like he did. Rear naked choke, bro.
He was just taking a break.
Rear naked choke, bro.
Bro. I think that's it for today's show,
New
guys.
games coming up this month. Is chock full
I think
of
that's
games.
it for today's, guys.
We're gonna have a Black Friday edition coming up pretty soon.
Oh,
Those deals are starting to pop up.
That's probably going to be not next
in a
week,
couple
but
of
maybe the
weeks.
week after.
In a couple of weeks.
Dang.
The Monday
Yeah.
before Thanksgiving.
We might go to PUBG Fest.
Maybe we'll see.
We're still waiting on
We're
that.
still waiting for that email. We'll see.
Let's make it happen, people.
Making it happen. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today here on DGT Live from the Central Coast of California. Digital Game Time, your family-friendly show about gaming, movies, and pop culture. I'm Leo along with
Rick
and
Francisco.
until next time, enjoy your games and love your families. Ciao!
It's Daddy's game time.